Well, good morning everybody. I'm still in my dressing gown because I just had to come out and film this incredible morning. It is just perfect. Now excuse me while I wobble a bit and put my little clogs on for walking in the garden. Oh, it's just beautiful. I'll have to remind myself to keep this camera still. How's that for a blue sky? And no wonder the birds are singing. So, the sun is very, very bright. I was cleaning out the cat bowls, you know, because I give them biscuits. And I threw all the stale biscuits up on top of the roof of the barn because it's a really safe place for the birds to land and feed. And they love wet cat biscuits. So the sedums are opening up beautifully. I'm having to squeeze past the kale here. And the nasturtiums are continuing to flourish. They'll keep going, you know, right up until the first kind of medium to hard frost. And then they sort of melt. But right up until then, they're a fantastic source of food for the bees. And the sedums, of course, represent the very last feast of the year for the bees before they go into hibernation. Now, I have decided upon something quite dramatic to do in terms of my land. As you all know, I have 3 acres. And I've planted it very intensely with trees and shrubs and bushes and created a woodland. Now this is the sort of production gardens up around the cottage. So although it looks pretty intensely planted, it's not designed as woodland. The woodland starts over there, where you can see the density of trees. Now I do have a lot of fruit trees, which are brilliant because they obviously give me a lot of fruit, a lot of food, and you can see here lots of lovely apples. They're super. But what I'm going to do from this autumn onwards is implement my new policy of planting for the bees and the birds and not actually planting annual crops for myself. Obviously keep all the perennial herbs and fruits and in some cases vegetables, i.e. the kale and stuff like that, because that just keeps coming up because of all the seeds in the compost system. But just to provide and pack in as much food now for the birds and the bees as possible. And butterflies, of course. Because now that I'm writing, I do have a small income from my book, well, one book at the moment and a map, but my second book will be out in the next, hopefully, 6 to 7 weeks. So I can now afford to go to the farmer's market and support people who are growing food. And I also have a local organic centre which is partly sponsored by the government, which is only just about a mile down the road. So it would serve me better and serve them better for me to support them, rather than me spending time growing food for myself. I prefer now to grow as much as possible for all the life that inhabits Bealtaine Cottage. I see that as much more beneficial in the bigger picture. So the potager beds, which are over there through the archway, I'm going to just fill with perennial flowers. Over here, all these are perennial herbs and flowers, because of course this is the Lunasa garden, which was designed and planted specifically for the bees and butterflies. Here there's some soft fruit, so I'm going to keep that going. I'm going to plant some more fruit trees over the course of the winter, wherever I can find space. And I'm really going to use whatever little space there is left to do this. So pathways are going to be kept to a minimum. Also within the tunnel, because I've got a grapevine in there, I've got a peach tree, a nectarine tree, a bay tree, lots and lots of bay trees over the gardens here. What I'm going to do in here, you can see I've got a heap of quite pernicious weeds there that I'm just drying out before I burn them. But what I'm going to do in here is just put a lot more food in here for the bees, because during the summer and actually just during the course of the seasons here in Ireland, as you will know, it can be very wet. There can be a lot of rain. Now the tunnel operates as a food system in all weathers for the bees. So this is going to serve as almost like a respite centre for them. So if things get too wet and too difficult to kind of navigate outside because of the rain, then this will be like a little living harbour for them. So basically everything that I'm going to do here now at Bealtaine Cottage has evolved away from me and evolved towards nature and making this 100% a habitat for life. Why have I decided to do this? Well, let me just say that the internet seems to be bulging with people, I suppose they would call themselves the doom and gloomers, or the doomers and gloomers, whatever they want to call themselves. Very pessimistic people, very pessimistic about climate change. Everything seems to be coming from, well, I'm a human and what's going to happen to me attitude. I think that's the wrong attitude, and I think that's why we're in the mess we're in. I think instead of looking at the world from the perspective of this is me and what is the world doing for me, I think we need to look at the world and see ourselves as a tiny speck in it and part of everything, of all life, that connectivity. Now, as a mother and a grandmother, I would lay down my life for my children or my grandchildren. I would lay down my life to save them. Now, I'm going to try to extend that approach to all life on Mother Earth. Am I prepared to make sacrifices in order to save life? Yes, I am. So within that context, I'm going to move myself from somewhere up near the top of the pyramid of life to somewhere down around the middle. And as I said before, to lose the ego, lose that, think about eco, and try to nurture a little bit more harmony into the lives that we lead, into the lives that we have here with Mother Earth. Now, I don't know if any of that makes sense to you. It makes perfect sense to me. But then here I am walking through Bealtaine Gardens, talking to myself. I've thought about it a lot. And I want to make full use, or best use, of all the resources that I'm responsible for here. I have 3 acres of what was described as poor land. I've brought it back to life by co-creating with Mother Earth. I struggled financially in the first 11 or 12 years. I'm now at a point where I have a little bit of an income, and I'm more than happy to use that income to support other people who are dedicated to growing food. I am going to dedicate myself and my work at Bealtaine Cottage to growing habitat. Now, maybe that's put it in a more succinct way. To growing habitat. Yes, I think that about sums it up. So, I suppose this was always going to be a natural sort of evolutionary process within goddess permaculture, and which is why I have evolved permaculture into goddess permaculture, because it's looking at everything from the perspective of the great goddess that is Mother Earth. I think too that this is a natural process to be involved in, because it's impossible to live within a growing habitat like this and not grow with it and not develop with it. The beautiful thing about this habitat here is that in the event of needing to plant annual crops and food, the land is perfectly ready for it, because as these trees grow, the fertility will just keep building. And what I'm saying is that in years to come, should good land be needed for crops, there is nothing to prevent a few of the trees from being cleared and land opened up. But we as humans actually don't need a huge amount of land in which to grow food. And that's why I do prefer now to use, well not use, but support farmers markets and organic centres and organic gardens where food is being produced. Because there are people who are happily dedicated to doing that and happily employed in doing that. Those are the people that we need to be supporting. And then people like myself, as I've evolved through the co-creation of this habitat, I'm probably best serving Mother Earth by writing and photographing and making these videos. And by the way, if we can see anything at all now through these trees, it's also beautiful. I'm just going to pull back up here, because as I was looking out the kitchen window this morning, I noticed a huge change in colours. I'm just going to go over here. So first of all, can you see the colours on the Virginia creeper? Now we're just one day away from the 1st of September. Look at those beautiful colours. And also over there on the purple beach, there's some lovely shades of golden brown, I suppose. And also down along the driveway you can see the ash trees are beginning to brown. Now the ash are the first to lose their leaves and the last to gain their leaves. Jack! Mr. Jack decides he's... Come back up here! Decides he's going to go down to the gate to admire all those cars passing. No, you wee rascal, you're not going down the lane at all. Come back. He says, oh, go on, Mum, let me go. No, you're not. Come back up here. I'm going to try to keep you safe. Because where would I be without Jack? Where would I be without Jack? I don't know. Jack now sleeps on his new bed, which is parked up at the end of my bed, which he loves. Thank you to those of you who have ordered books. I try to do posting now every day, and also thank you to those of you who have prepaid for the second book that I'm in the process now of editing up. And I want to say a thank you and a little bit of an apology as well to those of you who support me on Patreon. I haven't had time to get round to honouring my promise to send a card with a photograph out for people who make a donation of a certain amount. And I'm wondering if it's possible that you can be patient and just wait until I do that. Thank you very much, by the way, for supporting Bealtaine Cottage on Patreon. Hasn't yet reached a level that would cover the mortgage here, but I am just so thankful for any donation. So I'm not going to go on about that and give out and talk about money, because I don't like talking about money. So there, that's an end of it. It's amazing how this clematis growing out of the two tires there has so quickly taken over this little bit of trellis. I put this rather garish orange coloured trellis in here, just pull back a wee bit. When did I put it in? I think it must have been about April. And I'm absolutely, delighted that it's just happened so fast here, that we've got this lovely coverage of the clematis. Now, there's a clematis growing up from the tires, and then you see that lovely purple flower there? It's actually gorgeous. That's growing out from these two tires here. See, I'll pull back again. And then there's nasturtiums coming up there as well. Much beloved. The humble nasturtium. The very easiest flowers to grow. I don't even bother planting them anymore or sowing the seeds, because the seeds are dropped and they're kind of half protected down there in the gravel and the earth, and then come midsummer they all start coming up again. So there's lots and lots of flowers for the bees. Jack! You can just see Kilronan Mountain now. But we'll make our way around. Hope I'm going slow enough here. That's the beautiful dogwoods. When they lose their leaves, they then reveal these beautiful bright red stems that add a lot of colour over the course of the winter. Well, I shall go in and finish drinking my coffee. I just felt compelled to come out here and film the morning, because it's just so utterly beautiful. And tell you a little bit about my plans, what I've been thinking about and what has evolved. Well, on that note, there we go, there's the grapes. Lots and lots of them. Have a lovely day, everybody. Blessings to you all from Bealtaine Cottage here in the west of Ireland, where the sun is still managing to shine.